Hi, welcome to the Forecasting for Success podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Brie. I'm a doctor of psychology, financial educator, astrologer, and founder of Forecasting for Success, a community of people improving their financial literacy to achieve financial independence. I blend my expertise as a former professor and financial intelligence analyst with the tool of astrology to help break down why you are struggling with specific money habits and the best way to form more intentional responses and choices when it comes to money, especially to help you feel more secure in your financial decisions and improve your money skills for building long-term wealth. Welcome back to the show, everyone, and thank you so much for being here today. Remember to review, rate, and subscribe to the show because your support genuinely helps me and the podcast continue to be successful, and I sincerely appreciate your support. This week, Venus will enter the sign of Libra, which will occur at exactly 11:19 p.m. Central European Time on Monday, October 13th. Libra is one of the two rulership signs for Venus, so she's at her peak in Libra. When Venus is in Libra, the focus is usually on what feels good in the moment, vice long-term thinking. It can be like putting on rose-colored glasses for a bit. Venus in Libra has a positive outlook on wealth, but is prone to overspending on frivolous items and can need a bit of help when it comes to research and establishing a routine for how to enjoy the present while also taking care of your future self when it comes to money and resources. If you are feeling like you want to indulge, be strategic about when and how often so that you do not lose sight of your goals that are a few months or a few years away. We also have several major transits this week with Venus as well. The first is that Venus is opposite both Neptune and Saturn, and Venus is trine to both Uranus and Pluto. When Venus is opposite Saturn, this transit can cause you to feel like you do not have enough, which can bring up feelings of insecurity and loneliness. And you'll need to be mindful if this feeling does come up for you to not let your thoughts get away from you, since Neptune conjunct Saturn can cause more extreme thoughts or viewpoints. If you find your thoughts escalating and feeling insecure, lonely, or otherwise not feeling like you have enough, remember to take a break and breathe and try to ground yourself. And when Venus is opposite Neptune, your boundaries become extra important. This is a challenging transit, so be mindful of if a boundary of yours is being tested, and remember to redirect any unhealthy behavior that may be triggered. Your anxiety may be triggered, and you may also have more anxiety around your resources of time, energy, and money. So try not to spend too much time worrying about your investments. Remember that time in the market is more important than trying to time the market. This is not the best week for major purchases since our impulses can be tested and our motivations may be blurry. So it's a better week for spending time in nature instead of inside stores. Venus trine Uranus, though, is a fantastic time to organize your finances and think about exploring what is possible with your money in new ways. So thinking through how best you can align your money with your personal values. It's a great time to think about healthier strategies of what will work best for you to help you overcome old financial habits or patterns so that you can get to where you're trying to go long term. It may be helpful to seek out others who share your values and are modeling healthy behaviors and habits with their money and resources to help generate ideas that will work for you personally. And Venus trine to Pluto actually helps us become better in tune with and aligned with our personal values, what matters most to us. This is a great time to think through whether your money is organized and invested in a way that matches your values. And if you discover there are some changes that you need to make, then you can start thinking through what changes are needed to get you to where you want to be. This transit will thankfully soften the Venus opposite Neptune energy a bit to help you practice identifying and holding firm with your boundaries, both with people and with money, if you do find yourself being tested this week. Now I'd like to switch topics and discuss the theme of fall into savings. Let's go over how to use this season of transition to reevaluate your saving strategy because autumn is the perfect time to create more financial stability and peace before the rush of the holidays and the fresh start of a new year. I'll walk you through why saving can sometimes feel so hard and what's actually going on psychologically when we avoid it, and then share specific actionable steps to make saving easier, automated, and aligned with what really matters to you. By the end of this episode, you'll have a fresh, realistic savings plan, one that works with your life and not against it. So let's start with some honesty. Saving money is often not easy. Even if we know it's important, knowing and doing are two very different things. For many people, saving money feels like deprivation, like you're giving something up. It can trigger feelings of scarcity or even shame or guilt. And sometimes it's simply about being stretched too thin because the cost of living has continued to increase while paychecks have remained stagnant. But here's the truth. Saving money is not about restriction. It's about direction. It's about purpose. It's not about cutting out joy. It's about giving your future self choices. It's the difference between reacting to every financial surprise and calmly knowing you've got a cushion because you've learned to be mindful of both your present self and your future self. Now, autumn is a particularly important time to reevaluate this because it's a season of preparation. Think of it as the harvest season of your finances, where you take inventory of what you've built this year and decide what to store, what to let go of, and what to plant for the future. When you think of saving in this way, it stops being about punishment and starts being about protection. Protection for your peace, your time, and your long-term goals. Let's start about why saving often feels so emotionally charged and why understanding that can help you adapt your behavior. When we think about saving, it's easy to assume it's purely logical, just numbers in, numbers out. But money is deeply emotional. Your brain is wired to value short-term rewards over long-term gains. This is called present bias, the tendency to prioritize what feels good now over what's best later. That's why it's so easy to say, I'll start saving next month, or I'll wait until after the holidays. The emotional satisfaction of comfort today often outweighs the abstract benefit of security tomorrow. And if you're stressed, tired, or emotionally drained, saving becomes even harder. Research shows that when we're under stress, our brains shift from long-term planning to immediate survival mode, and that includes our financial decisions. So if you've ever felt frustrated with yourself for not saving, quote, enough, please give yourself grace. You're not alone in this, and you're only human. The goal here is not to be perfect. It's about making saving easier to do than to continue with any avoidant behavior. And that's where systems, habits, and automation come in, which I'll explain in just a moment. But first, let's make one mental reframe. When you save money, you're not just setting money aside, you're building self-trust. Each time you transfer money into your savings or investment account, you're sending yourself a message that says, I can rely on me. That is powerful. And that is the foundation of being financially independent. That's what enables you to know that no matter what life throws at you, you are building or have built security for yourself to be secure and access the resources you need to keep yourself safe and thriving. And over time, that trust compounds, not just financially, but emotionally. You start feeling more grounded, more capable, and more confident in your ability to handle whatever life throws your way. So as we go through the next steps, I want you to remember this. Saving isn't just a financial practice, it's an act of self-respect. Now that we've talked about why saving matters, let's move into how to actually do it, sustainably, strategically, and in a way that fits your life. Here are 5 steps you can take this season to fall into savings and build momentum before the year ends. Step 1, do a seasonal savings check-in. The first step is simple. Look at where your money is currently going. Pull up your banking app or budgeting spreadsheet and ask yourself 3 questions. How much am I saving automatically each month? What expenses have crept up lately that I didn't really notice? And what upcoming costs are on the horizon, like holidays, travel, or year-end bills that you can start preparing for now? This autumn audit of your savings helps you see clearly where you are before deciding where to go next. If you're already saving consistently, that's great. You can celebrate that. But if not, now is the perfect time to recalibrate. Remember that a savings plan doesn't have to be fancy or complicated. It just needs to be intentional and in alignment with your personal values. Step 2, automate your savings, then forget about it. Automation is one of the most powerful money tools you can use because when you make saving automatic, you remove the emotional tug of war that happens when you have to decide every single month whether to transfer money. Set up automatic transfers from your checking account to your savings and investment accounts right after payday. Even small amounts, $25 or $50 per transaction, add up faster than you think. Any amount you can afford genuinely makes a difference over time. If you get paid biweekly, schedule 2 transfers a month. If you get paid monthly, schedule one right after your paycheck hits. The key is to make it happen before you have time to talk yourself out of it. Automation turns saving from a decision into a default, and that's exactly how you start creating consistency without having to rely on motivation or willpower every single time. Step 3, open or reassess your high yield savings account. If you haven't already, it's time to open or update your high yield savings account, or HYSA. These accounts are offering some of the highest interest rates that we've seen in years, and yet so many people still have their savings sitting in traditional accounts earning next to nothing. A good high yield savings account earns interest that compounds automatically, meaning your money grows while you sleep. When you fall into savings, think of it like raking your financial leaves into one neat pile. You're gathering what you've already earned and letting it work for you instead of letting it scatter in low interest accounts. If you already have a high yield savings account, double check the rate and make sure it's competitive. You can switch easily if not, and the process usually takes less than 15 minutes online. Step 4, create sinking funds for upcoming goals. This is one of my favorite strategies because it makes saving specific and emotionally rewarding. Instead of one generic savings account, create individual sinking funds for the things you care about, like a vacation fund, home upgrades, car maintenance, or holiday gifts. When you separate your savings by purpose, you start feeling proud of your progress instead of deprived by your limits. It's a small psychological shift that keeps your motivation high and sustainable. Let's say you put $100 a month into a travel 2026 fund. Watching that balance grow over time can actually make you more disciplined with your spending because it connects your short-term actions with long-term satisfaction that aligns with your personal values. Step 5, review and refresh your financial goals. Finally, take time to revisit your financial goals before the year ends. Ask yourself, what do I want my money to do for me in the next 6 months? Are my current savings and spending habits aligned with that vision? What small shifts could make the biggest difference? Maybe that means increasing your automatic savings by 2%. Maybe it means consolidating old accounts you've been ignoring. Or maybe it's simply committing to tracking your spending twice a month. Whatever it is, make it measurable and manageable. And remember, saving isn't about doing everything perfectly. It's about doing one or two things consistently well. As we wrap up today's episode, I want you to remember this. You don't need a massive financial overhaul to make progress, just momentum. Small, consistent steps lead to big, lasting wins. This season is your opportunity to reflect, realign, and reset, to let go of what's no longer serving you financially, and to start saving intentionally for what truly matters. If you're ready to take the next step in creating a confident, grounded financial plan for the months ahead, I'd love to invite you to my free monthly masterclass, Forecast Your Success. It's a live interactive session where we dive deeper into strategies for aligning your money with your personal goals, so you can move forward with clarity and confidence when it comes to ensuring your money is invested to build wealth long term. You can sign up at the link in the show notes. It's completely free, and it's one of my favorite ways to connect directly with you and help answer your questions. Thank you for being here with me today, and I'll talk to you next week. I want to thank you so much for joining me this week on Forecasting for Success and let you know that you can read the transcript for each podcast episode on my website, which is linked below in the show notes. I've also included the link to send me your money questions if you'd like to be a guest on the podcast at forecastingforsuccess.com/podcast. And if you're ready to get started on improving your financial literacy and developing your own personalized money plan, I encourage you to join my Forecasting for Success community, where I teach you everything you need to know about budgeting, how to choose your retirement number, how to invest in the stock market, and so much more. I go live in the community each month to check in on your progress and help answer any questions you may have. And it's a supportive community where you can also check in with other members and learn from their experiences as well. I hope you take good care of yourself, and I'll talk to you next week.